I think I was sold about what leadership is that I didn't necessarily want to be, you know what I mean, as I was growing up. So the willingness to really choose for you and choose what you know, and what may be different from the rest of what everyone else is choosing. That is that like really empowering place that keeps getting easier every time I choose it. Like sometimes in the beginning when you choose it, it's very confronting because you may be, you know, the only one who is choosing what you're choosing. Um, and
Mm.
I really see it also as being willing to empower others. So it's not that you're choosing because you're right and your way is right and you have this all-knowing, you know, God power that you know something. It's really from like being in question and choosing and being willing to change and looking at everything from what else is possible. What can I contribute here, if anything? What can I change? What points of view do I like? I think the other key thing that I've really looked at is most of the time, the only person that you can actually change is you. So if you can change your point of view about whatever is going on, it shifts everything.
Mm.
So really, this like constant exploration of like, okay, if I were leading here with this choice in my life, in this meeting, in this with my child, what would I choose here that would be actually empowering for me, empowering for everyone involved, and create something greater. So
Mm.
that's how I see it right now in this moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you beautifully mentioned it. The choices you make. I was always sold on the idea to lead by example, which is just a construct of this reality that requires other people to copy you, to look up to you, and to make you the source. I had a conversation with Gary Douglas recently, and he said, "No, it's not leading by example; it's leading by choice." And leading by choices that might create uncomfortable situations. But why would that matter if you can always choose again? So for me, leadership is leading by choice and not by example. The willingness to make choices that are controversial, but you make a choice, and that's the element of leadership. The willingness to make a choice, but not to expect anyone to align and agree, but also not expecting from yourself that your choice has a certain effect. It's this, jump off the cliff or leap, and then just see where you land or what this choice creates. And another element, and was inspired by you, Chris, in the Right Voice for You facilitator training, when you asked me, what is what is the world that you desire to live in the future? If we keep trying to fit in order to please whomever, we are just bending over and backwards and folding ourselves into something that doesn't match who we are. So that question, what is the world I want to live in the future? And am I making choices that create this future, this environment? That is a question I started functioning from. What is the world that I desire to live in? And am I willing to make these choices, no matter how uncomfortable they are, and no matter how controversial they are, and how many people are going to judge me or call me insane? I'm choosing this because I know the world I want to live in. And what's for me one of the biggest, most challenging elements is a world of no judgment. That allowance where everybody can be who they are without being judged. What they are, how they look like, how they live, what they desire, where they desire. What if that was the new reality, a world of no judgment, where people choose what works for them, but not harm each other? That element of benevolence, where you make choices that literally are wishing well for all, including yourself and planet Earth. That's what I desire as a future. And that's what we're hopefully starting to create and invite with our series or whatever that is, our celebration kickoff conversation. So thank you, Chris, for your amazing inspiration and the question, what is the world that I like to live in? And do my choices match that energy? That gave my life a whole new perspective that I really enjoy.
Mm. Beautiful. I love with what both of you had to say. It's quite empowering, really, because we're told as we grow up, like it's never really explicitly said to us, but there's this underlying message delivered to everyone as a kid that in order to be a leader, you need to progress along these certain steps so that you become a C-suite executive or you become a politician. You need to go to the right school and be in the debate team and excel at sport. And leadership looks a certain way. It's never like totally told us in it exactly that, but there's this overarching message, right? But what you both have said about what leadership is for you guys, it takes it away from just the elite and just the people in power, so to speak, and allows leaders to be anybody from housewife to janitor to the people who are C-suite executives making the choices and decisions that shape our world, so to speak. I guess if I can answer my own question then as well, what I see leadership really is as the willingness to have your own point of view, to recognize how you see the world that is different. Everyone who has come along historically that has changed the world has implemented what they see as possible that no one else was choosing. Like maybe they invented a new toaster, or maybe they invented a new political system. But they saw something that could be, and they went, hey, what about this? And that question of what about this is what actually changes the world.
Totally.
Yep.
And you can see that with artists, you can see that with like any area of creation when you're on that like creative edge of really, okay, what other way of doing this? What else is possible? I think sometimes when you're in that moment and you may not know that you're a leader, you're changing the future just because you're so aggressively like into what you're creating and the point of view that you have to create that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't do the same thing over and over again. So like I have to I have to constantly be looking at, exploring new possibilities. And that is the most fun part, I think, of being a leader of the future because you're creating something for the now that will also create for the future as well. It's not necessarily getting like hung up on the significance of when is this future coming. It's like it's in the day-to-day actions that you're making those different choices all the time.
Mm,
Yep, that's very beautiful what you said, Megan, because it's not that big things. People always think in order to be a leader, you need to have a certain power over a certain area. You need to have, I don't know, a certain amount of money. You have to have a certain amount of followers. You have to be able to influence enough people so leadership makes sense. Because you just being a nobody and making a choice, you're just a drop in the ocean, which has nothing to do with leadership. But I think this is the biggest lie on planet Earth. It's those choices. What's a nobody? Nothing. Everyone started out with a first choice, with a first step. So I want to empower all these people out there who consider themselves as too small, not rich enough, not powerful enough. All these nobody's no counts out there. Everyone who created a change on planet Earth so far started there with just this one desire, this one dream, this first choice. So, what choice can each and every one of you out there make today that actually starts that ball rolling, that starts creating that future that you desire to live? And if you keep going with that, if you choose what matches that energy of what you want to create, whether someone likes it or hates it or judges it or makes fun of it. None of that matters. What matters for me is what works for me, that lightness in my world. I made that commitment to myself to literally shamelessly choose what's light for me, whether it makes sense or not. No matter how many people are concerned. Oh my God, what is he choosing? What is he doing? Why is he throwing his life away? How dare you? And I go, yep, because it's just more fun to be bad and weird and crazy than living a life where you're always concerned, how how can I fit in? This fitting in, this desire to be part of a normal reality, it's just too boring for me.
Mm,
I need more than that.
mm. The I'd love to unpack more of this thing that people seem to want to absolve themselves of responsibility. Um, like, for example, within access consciousness, as I say, the whole point of access is facilitating consciousness, inviting people to know what they know and open their eyes and be consciously creating their lives, right? And we talked for years within access that if there were 10,000 people on the planet in consciousness, we could change the face of the world. And so we started getting really clear about what we were asking for with that, with 10,000 people in consciousness. And one of the things was for the politicians to step aside and statesmen to come to the fore. But still, there's this sense of going, okay, well, if the statesmen come to the fore, well, who are those people?
Yeah.
But it's us.
Yeah.
We are that. It is not
Yeah.
anybody else. It is not like, oh well, I'll create a better future for the children, for these other people. No, no, no. We are it. We are here being it and doing it. It is our job, if we choose it, to change what is and be those statesmen. Like what you were saying, David, of and I think this is key, having a look at how you want to live and the world that you want to live in. Like the thing that when I look at the world right now, it's so easy to dwell on the problems. Um, I would rather look at instead of what's wrong or who's to blame, because I think we've been trained to do that. Look at
Yeah.
who the bad guy is. Oh, it's Trump. He's the bad guy. He's the one that we should be choosing to assassinate or whatever. Um, Instead of that, what if we looked at how we want the world to look and what we want it to be? Like for me, one of the things that I'm reflecting on is I would love to change this energy of entitlement. I think people being entitled is part of what creates this greed is good mentality of I can take that land, I can take that country, I can take these assets because I should have it. But what if we lived in a world where we challenged this notion of greed is good and entitlement, and instead recognized that there actually is no shortage of anything?
Yeah.
There's enough for all of us and more. And but that's just me. Like I said earlier, for me, it's about having your point of view. That's my point of view. You don't have to agree with it. And I love the fact that we've got you here, David, and you, Megan, and all these other people listening, and everyone's going to have their own point of view about what they want to see. And as I said, there's room for all of it.
And I love that you pointed that out, because what if your point of view actually has an impact? Like if you have a look at what is your point of view, not from, this is right and this is wrong, but hey, what would you actually like? And there was a video, maybe we can post it around, that David, you shared this morning. And
Mhm.
in the US, in the state of Vermont, there's a 14-year-old who just decided that he's going to run for Congress, um, because he interned in eighth grade for some government office. And this little news clip with him on there is so inspiring, because he's literally just like, well, I would like to see my state be different, and this is what I'd like to like. here's like my overall vision, but then he was really like he'd like the school district to change because there's a way of doing it different so that you aren't spending so much money. Like he really actually got into actionable items. But he realized that there was no law against the age of what you could run for, so he's just running.
He was amazing because he literally said, Why would age matter? Why is it a problem that I'm 14? And why should it be a problem if someone who runs for Congress is 85? What
Yeah,
matters is what people desire and
yeah,
not how old they are. Brilliant video. Yeah, let's post it. An incredible inspiration. And this is so beautiful to see that all around the world, these people start having a voice and being heard and showing up. I
yeah,
think we are at a stage where it's almost about, the concept that we lived by for so many years. It's over 70 years that the first world, the United States and Europe, hasn't really been in a war situation. It's an incredible comfort zone that we live in, but we can't stop here. We can't just take a break and just take or consume what other generations have built. I think now is the time, and this is just so. I sense it everywhere. This desire, something needs to change, and people don't exactly know what. But you don't need to know what. You just
yeah,
need to
Mm,
know that something needs to change, and what change can you be in your own life,
mm,
with your family, when you are out, whatever, with every choice you make in your daily life, you can choose to be that energy of a leader by being what you truly desire the future to be, the way you interact when you take your kids to school, when you go grocery shopping, when you are with your colleagues, with your coworkers. Every second we have the opportunity to be that, to start being that different space, where we institute what we would like the future to be. And my point of view is this is how we create the future, not waiting for it to happen, or waiting for someone to step up to create it. No, it's us with every choice we make, no matter how tiny and insignificant it seems to be. That's how we build that muscle of living and being the leader we all truly are. And we can all start today, or if you're in Europe, tomorrow.
Today in Australia. Today it's Wednesday in Australia.
yeah.
Don't confuse me, Chris.
The the thing with that too, if I can add my 20 cents, it's more than two, it's 20 at least. Um, Knowing where you want to go or knowing the kind of future that you want to create, it doesn't have to be like really solidly defined. It's probably better that it isn't. There's a lot of people right now in the world, as you pointed out, David. There's this like acknowledgement that things have got to change. And there's this anxiety around it of like, is China going to take Taiwan? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Are we going to World War IV? What's happening here? And there's this like nervousness. But knowing what you want to create, if you're not happy with what you see, isn't about like, I want world peace and that'll mean there's no more borders. And it's not a kumbaya kind of a moment. It's the living from the question of, well, how would I like to live? You don't actually need to have a definition of what that is when you ask that question. A real leader doesn't have the answers. A real leader has a sense of what's possible and no limitations stopping them, no conclusions stopping them, and the willingness to challenge everything to be something greater.
That's beautiful.
You're beautiful. Stop.
Thanks. Thanks. I
Well,
love that.
not having the
I,
answer, that's
yeah.
not having the answer, not having it all perfectly together in your own life. This is probably the most challenging part. A lot of people think, well, if I if I want to lead people, is I have to have it right because I have to lead by the example I'm being. Um, no, that's the old concept. That just doesn't apply anymore. It might have worked like three generations back. Life changes, everything changes. Um, it's such a gift if you do not function from I need to have it together. I have to have it right. I have to have it right in my own life before I teach it, before I be it, before I inspire. I think with who we are, with all our imperfections, we can be even greater leaders because perfection is a concept that's against nature. The only thing, what is perfection? What is having it all together, having it right? That doesn't exist in nature.
Mm,
For me, that was the biggest freedom, that knowing and that sense of wow, it's even that vulnerability to go, well, I don't have an answer and I don't have it all together yet, but I keep going. Do I
mm,
know when? Do I know how? No, I just know that. And I don't really care when. Maybe sooner, maybe later. That all of that is irrelevant. And I think that is the greatest invitation we can be to to look at us the way we are and be grateful for who we are and what we are and have that as our engine that keeps going. Is there something we can improve? Of course, but why is it improving? Why is it not just changing and adopting and living? Um, that that's for me an energy that I really, really, really enjoy and that I want to have more of. Um,
I would say that,
imperfection.
yeah, I would say that all the times if I look back when I was actually truly being a leader, um, I had no clue. Like it in my world, I didn't have a clue. I had no idea really where I was going, what I was doing, but I was forced to be in so much question that it created something different and apparently inspired people, or you know what I mean? But I had really no plan. It was just kind of living on quicksand and going for it. Um, so it's funny when you say that because I'm like, anytime when I like thought I need to get it together and like get a plan and like prove that I've got my shit together, number one, it's not that much fun.
And it actually never really works
It
because
never
it
works.
always shows up in a different way. It's
Yeah.
never the way we think it is, and that's also one element of leadership, the willingness to change something that doesn't work
Yeah.
without that shame, blame, and regret that most of the time comes with it. What if there was nothing to regret and nothing to be ashamed of?
Yeah.
That energy of, okay, well, that didn't work, so what next? I think that is a big element of putting your energy in what needs to change here, and not whom can we blame for the things that didn't work. And I think this is what recently Gary said in his the convergence of possibilities, to not look at what has occurred so far, to literally be the question, what can occur now and what contribution can we be so this can now change.
mm.
And that for me requires everyone to get over that rightness, wrongness, and judgment. I think it what it comes down for me, and probably because I was born in Vienna, a place where judgment is literally, that
Well,
that's
I
what
was
you learn.
born.
It's so normal, and I'm exploring a world where I allow myself to go beyond judgment and finally let it melt away with every choice I make, and every day a little more. I'm not done yet, but I'm on my way.
And
I
what if it could be fun though as well?
Yeah.
Like there is a bit of a projection on leadership that it's serious and you have to be responsible. Because your choices impact all of these different communities and people and whatever. And all that could be true, and you could still have fun. It can still be like what I love about it is, routine is boring for the most part. When your day is the same again and again and again, you get this sense of like rinse and repeat. But when you aren't taking anything for granted, you get to go on the adventure of, well, what if I didn't wake up at 6 every day and start my day with the same coffee and the same newspaper and the same vitamins and the same breakfast and then the same workout and then the same job and then the same after work activities and the same TV shows? A lot of people live that way, and you don't, it's not wrong, but you don't have to. To me, this energy we're introducing to some of you maybe for the first time of living as question, it's to me that is the opening the door to adventure and leadership being fun and creative.
What are some questions that you guys use, either in the morning when you wake up, or like that would maybe be more of like the getting into the leadership? I don't know. I feel like all questions are leadership, but is there anything that is like your go-to right now or in this 10 seconds?
Yeah, one of the ones that I use quite a lot is is any of this true for me? Like, I was speaking with a friend. A friend reached out to me yesterday from Poland, and they were like, I'm having money issues, and I never have money issues. And the first question I asked him is, so are any of these money issues actually yours, or are you just aware that most people are having money issues at the moment? And they went, oh yeah, hang on. And then I said, now the question I would be asking is, if this isn't yours and this isn't true for you, what is true for you? What is your reality with money? Because your life doesn't have to look like anybody else's.
That's a good
You
one. And
can,
the money issue is intense at the moment. Um, so the question I use a lot, especially with all this anxiety about money, is if money wasn't an issue, what would you choose? And
mm,
I know so many people go, yeah, but it is, but it is. And I say, well, that's not the question. If money wasn't an issue, what would you choose? And that for me opens up so much clarity of who I truly am and what I desire to be, and kind of gives me an idea of a world I desire to live in. And yes, sometimes the money is not there yet, but this is where you can add another question. If money wasn't an issue, what would you choose? And what would it take for this to be my reality? What would my reality be? And then put your energy on creating a reality where money is not an issue. And you will have it.
mm.
Your point of view creates your reality. So many people underestimate the power of the point of view, the
Yeah.
words they use, the thoughts they have, the point of view they function from. That question, if money was not an issue, what would you choose? And just
I
catch
love that as well, David, because I think money is the excuse a lot of people give themselves that they can't lead. It's like, oh, well, I would love this, but I don't have the money. That's not possible.
Yep, the money issue. Poor money.
You have choice. You still have
Mm.
choice.
Yes, and if not now, the next question I always ask is it actually relevant? Does it have to be now? I mean, creating a future starts with a choice, and your choice creates. And if you make the choice, okay, my demand is to live a life where I'm supported by money and where I always have choice with or without money. And that's also for me the definition of wealth. It's not having a lot of money, it's having choice always. Where money is not relevant, where money is not the condition, when money is not the source. Some choices might look different, or many choices are way easier and faster with money, but they're just easier and faster. They're not impossible. And that is that space that cracks open, and that can then expand and become your new reality. But if you never crack it open, it will always stay closed. How to crack it
Well,
open? With a question.
Yeah.
I always love, because is there anything that you've ever not been able to choose or create in your life? Or
No, I always get everything that I want.
yeah, and so that's when I look at, if I'm doing that personally, where I'm like, oh my God, whatever, I'm like, hang on, like I've never ever not been able to choose something where the money doesn't show up or it doesn't work out. or there's some other way that the money shows up where, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's where you can really start tapping into the power of your choice and question. And if you are willing to look at your point of view, creating your reality, what are you choosing? You know?
So, Megan, what about you? What are the questions you use? What are your favorites?
Well, it was interesting when you were talking about like the state of like anxiety. I'm in the US right now, which I it's it has this sense of like almost so much going on that it creates inaction because you just can't even, like, it's like I give up, you know. That's kind of like that energy that's, I don't know, that I keep picking up on because there's just so much reaction and craziness. So I've been asking, what can I be or do to change this? And that might be, you know, having a conversation with somebody that shifts a point of view, or getting more information because there's a lot of lies and truths out there that are swirling. To look at, okay, I don't know, in the media, it's here, it's very, a lot of stuff is getting like super hyped up. So I also choose to not go on my phone or Instagram or whatever, the stuff that like stirs up my own personal reaction. So really just going into that question of what can I be or do to change this, and what can I create? Like, what can I choose and create that's going to create a greater future? Because
Mm.
like you guys are talking about, I'm really like, I desire to see a world of where there's way more consciousness, like a world without judgment, but also a world where people are empowered to know that they can actually create whatever they desire, whatever that is for them. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know if I'm a leader, like that's okay. What if you just started looking at what else you could choose that would light you up, you know? Um, so that's where I'm just like, man, can we please create something different, and what can I be or do to start that for me personally, and how can I empower others? And it might be, it's just interesting how it just keeps shifting and changing. And who does this belong to is absolutely my go-to, absolutely go-to every single day, 100 million times a day.
Hmm. And some people out there watching or listening, that tool of who does this belong to might be new to you. I
Yes.
hope it's new to you because I hope we're reaching people with this broadcast that have never heard of us before, never heard of Access Consciousness. The question of who does this belong to essentially is an acknowledgement that you are aware
Yeah.
that so much of what goes through your head, all of the like thoughts that you have or what you're dealing with emotionally, it actually isn't necessarily yours and originate with you, but it may just be your perception of the world around you. And even like science even tells us now that when you're really like connected to somebody or care about somebody, you can have an empathy for what is going on for them emotionally or mentally without even being in their physical presence. Um, you may have through your childhood developed an attachment to a friend or a teacher or somebody, innumerable numbers of people that you have this awareness of because you care, quote unquote, and as such so much of what you're experiencing right now is not actually truly you, but your awareness of them. So asking that question, who does this belong to, takes away the assumption that whatever you're going through is a problem you're dealing with, and it acknowledges that you're super aware. You are crazy, crazy, crazy aware. You are a radio tower and lightning rod for everything that's going on in the world around you. And as Megan just said, with what's going on in the world today and how people are feeling about it, and even if they're not looking at geopolitical issues of like what countries are being taken over, but you're maybe worried about affording a carton of eggs.
Yeah.
Um, Again, even the worry about affording a carton of eggs, what if
It's
that
happened.
wasn't you?
It's happened.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been in the grocery store and I'm like, oh man, I don't know, you know, if I can afford this stuff. And I'm like, okay, hang on.
Hang on.
Is
Is that
any of
my
this
point of view?
mine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true? Is it real? Or even
Hmm.
if you can't, even if you're at the place where money is like really, you know, tight or not happening or whatever, then ask another question. You know, what would it take? Or what else? How can I make this work? And there's amazing ways to get everything you want in life. with,
Absolutely.
with money or not, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew a lady who really wanted to get to a class, and she was like, "All right, I'm gonna put an ad on Facebook Marketplace that I make apple pies." And she did the maths of like what it would cost to make the pies and how many pies she would have to make to actually get to the class. And it was all quite like linear and structured, and she got it all figured out. She was flooded with orders, and it's not only surpassed the money that she required to go to the class she wanted to, she was like, I need to hire somebody to do all this. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was all just, and that's basically being the question of, uh, how do I get there? I want this. How do
Yeah.
I make it occur? And so she chose something. I think that's the other element of leadership that we really need to address here is actually choosing.
Yeah.
Because I break it down into the three things of what we've talked about so far. There's this awareness of what you would like to have, and you can articulate that of like, okay, what's the world I want to live in? Am I happy with this? Okay, so you have that whole thing. How do I want to live, and where do I want to live? The next thing is being in the question, not taking anything for granted and not assuming anything has to be, and going, okay, what's it going to take for that to occur? But then the final, to me, the most important step is making an actual choice, like going,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do this. And no matter where you live and how you live and who you're in contact with, that's leadership, actually creating the life you want to live in.
Beautiful, Chris. And that's the energy that you just shared with us with this woman, the never give up, never give in, never quit.
Mm.
And giving up and quitting is a point of view we have because there is always a different possibility available. We just have to ask for it, even if we have no clue how. The how is irrelevant. The choice, this is changing. I keep going. That moves the energy and that will open infinite possibilities. Changes and things will occur that you've never even dreamed of, but they are not luck or coincidence. This is the result of you choosing, opening that door to keep going, to never give up, never give in, never quit. And that's the energy that keeps me going, but not from working hard and fighting, no, from joyfully creating the future I desire to live in. And I will because I always get what I want, so I will get this too.
Oh, well,
Well,
that's great.
Megan, Chris, what are you desire to create with this in the near future? What's our plan? What's next? Where can we
We
inspire people to
we have
like what we have to share?
well, we have a page where anything that we have coming up, if you want to stay up to date with us, it's accessconsciousness.com/leaders of future, which we'll put somewhere all over. But we do have a three-part call that we're going to do just to see if there's anything else that you guys would like to dive into, where you can actually ask questions and we can, inspire you, empower you, help make. So, because sometimes being a leader in your life can get, like we said, can get confronting, or you may have things that come up that we would love to help you have and be easier. So I know we have that. That's starting February 16th. If you want to hop on with us. But this is just the beginning. It feels kind of like we talked about. Like, I'm just so excited to start and see where we go.
Me too. So,
Yeah,
but
me
wait,
too.
wait, was your question also, David, like we personally, what do we want for the next year? What are we looking to create? Was that what you're asking? Or
Yes.
am I
Where would
Oh,
you like what that? I mean, we are taking the action. We are doing this, and this is probably one of the inspirations we can read. Just do it and see where it lands, and then keep going, keep going. But to sum up our beautiful, inspiring conversation, where would you two? What's your desire for the future? What are you doing this for?
I would love to show, like, remind myself and show everybody else that lack isn't real. People are righteous about that there isn't enough and that we have to protect what's ours. And I'd love to show people, and it might sound like a kumbaya kind of moment, but I would really like to show people that you can have anything you want, anything. And there is more than enough for all of us.
Thank you, Chris. Megan.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's like I talk to so many people where the basis that they're functioning from is that they can't, or they don't know how, or they're kind of just stuck in this place. And it's like, oh my God, there's so much possible. So there's that with empowering people, but I'd love to see what we can change in the world. Um, whether it occurs with when I'm still alive on the planet, or if it's something that creates for the next 500 years with planet Earth. Like, I would love to see what else I can personally contribute to something, everything being greater with you guys and with everyone who engages with us on whatever YouTube or telecalls or whatever. Like, what else is actually possible that we've never considered?
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, I
What ab-
am
yeah,
curious
what
to
about
find
you,
out.
David? What are you doing this for?
Well, I honestly, I would really like to create a world with less judgment to begin with and invite people to the incredible beauty of a space of no judgment, a space where you are in allowance with what other people choose, whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
And having this sense of no judgment also with yourself, the way where you are in the world, how you look, what you do, what you didn't do. You know, a space of no judgment is the kindest space you can give to yourself and to the people around you. So probably no judgment would be, too high for a short-term target, but less judgment, yes, absolutely.
I'm glad you said that because I was like, huh, why is he asking for less judgment and not no judgment? And I love that. I think that I
Well,
think
because I know myself.
that
Well, I said for the near future. Let's see. That is, I don't want to be too kumbaya, but if everyone who is listening to this starts judging themselves a little less, you will get a sense of joy, and you will want more of this incredible kind space that you can be for yourself. So I want to be that invitation to look at you and go, wow, I'm actually not only beautiful, I'm cool the way I am and beautiful because we all are.
we all are. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, if any of you listening to this would like to dive in deeper, have some questions, explore and extrapolate possibilities with us, you now know where to find us. If not, Google it, ask for it, take some action to find us. That's how I always find what I want. I don't wait until things are served on a silver plate, so I just need to do one click. If I want something, I'm digging so deep until I find it. So have a little
Ah,
bit of that. Find us and
I
help
love it.
Yeah.
us empower the world to turn
You're
into a kind of more beautiful place to be.
you're like a tiger. You want it, you pounce. Rawr.
Exactly.
And if you guys are listening and there's, maybe this sparked something in your world, or if there's something you'd like to hear us talk more about, put it in the comments wherever you're watching this, because I would really love to be interested to see like what you guys are aware of and where we can go with all of it. So
David left.
David he pounced.
He's gone. He was like, I'm done with you
I'm,
guys. I'll
I'm
see you.
reverse pouncing. I'm pouncing out.
I guess that means he's done. And maybe that
Yeah.
was his way of being like, he's leading. He's leading the end of the call.
That's part of being a leader, is knowing when to leave.
Yeah, just being like, I'm out. See ya.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chris. And thanks, David, wherever you are. we'll see you guys somewhere soon. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Did we just leave now? Oops.